So the basic building material for the chairs that we used, at least, are these these wood sheets. So it's full wood, just one layer, and you can get them very cheap. Usually in the hardware stores, at least in Finland and in Germany. That's where I can say for sure that you can get them, and probably all of Europe at least. The other critical thing that you need to build something are, of course, tools. And because we didn't have many tools in the beginning, there is kind of a minimal set of tools that we need, and we will go through them quickly. So what you definitely need are a good pair of hand saws. So you might be wondering why you actually need two. So there are two distinctive things about hand saws, and that's the way they cut along the fibers or across the fibers. So this is a cross-cutting saw. This is actually made for cutting like this. Like if my fingers represent wood fibers, then you would cut like this. And this is a saw made for cutting along the fibers. Might look very similar in the video, and of course they actually work in both directions, but they work much better if they are cutting in kind of the right direction. So this is made to cut in between the fibers. These are very cheap. You can get them, I think, about like 10 or 20 euros per saw. The other thing you will need is a chisel, and both of these are pretty cheap ones, although that looks more fancy, but we actually made the first chairs all with this one. What's also very, very handy is a plane. So again, this is pretty cheap plane, around 30 euros. And for this set of tools, what you also critically need is something to sharpen them. So this is diamond stone, but they're all kinds of stones, and you also have to learn like how to sharpen these, otherwise they are not very useful for a long time. You also need some kind of hammer to actually hammer the chisels, of course. You need some measurements and marking tools, and one of the nicest ones is actually this, where you can set like some distance in here and then actually very easily like mark it out along a line. Of course, a right angle also always handy. You will need some clamps, you will need something to mark things. The knife is also very handy to mark things very precisely. The power tools that you really need is just a drill, and of course some drills to do the right holes, some glue. And the power tool that we also used actually for the first build was a router. And routers you can also get like pretty cheap these days, although then they are not really high quality. And the reason why is that we thought that it makes it easier to actually make all the parts equal, and I will show how we did that later on. We used one of these flush trim bits to do this. And of course the router also helps to actually cut precisely straight holes if you don't have something like a drill press. So one of the critical things when making a chair is that all the parts are having the very much exact same dimensions, so that when you put everything together, not only does it fit in all the right joints, but also the chair doesn't wobble because like one side is a little bit longer or one side is too short or the diagonals are somewhere out of whack. And because we didn't really trust ourselves in the beginning to cut all the things to these like exact dimensions by hand, we thought we might use, as mentioned before, one of these flush trim router bits to make all of the parts fit together, and use these in conjunction with these templates for cutting all the parts. And the idea was that, of course, we can at first use these templates that are basically resembling all the three parts. So like this is the front leg of the chair, this is the side part, and this is the backrest. with the back legs, all one part. Then we put them on top of the whatever material we use to actually make the chair, and then we mark it out, make a rough cut with the hand saws, and then we can use the router and the flush trim bit to make the very exact copies. And the idea was, so you basically would take, like if this is the rough cut part, you would take the template, clamp it on here, and then these router bits, these flush trim router bits, they have like a bearing on top of here that spins independently of the router bit. And so you could actually adjust it so that it would ride along the template here, and then you would just like go along here and go along the other side, and of course also the bottoms, and then you would end up with some very exact copies. However, we learned quite a few things since we built the first chair, and so we think we can actually make a chair with like very simple methods where you don't need to know a lot about woodworking and train some of the things a little bit, and don't use the router. So we think we can actually make it with one less tool and still have like a very simple build.